Hello, I'm Taylor, and today we're going to be exploring chemical reactions. Now, you may not know this, but chemical reactions are super fascinating, especially because they happen all over the place, all the time, and even in plain sight. Now, what exactly is a chemical reaction? A chemical reaction is when two or more substances chemically react together and their chemical structures are changed where one, two, or even more new substances are created from that reaction. Here's an example of a chemical reaction. Have you ever tried to make s'mores over an open campfire? You know, you take your marshmallow, you put it on your stick, and you put it over the open fire. Well, whenever you toast or burn your marshmallow, a chemical reaction actually occurs. It's called the Maillard effect, the Maillard reaction. And the Maillard reaction occurs when you toast or burn a marshmallow over a fire, and the sugar and amino acids react together due to the fire's heat, creating the marshmallow's darkened crust. And we like this darkened crust because it gives the marshmallow a unique taste. Well, this darkened crust and the unique taste of a toasted or burnt marshmallow are proof that a chemical reaction has occurred. And believe it or not, anytime you or anyone you know cooks, oftentimes the Maillard reaction is involved. So cooking is in fact a chemical reactive process. How fascinating is that? Now, in today's experiment, we're going to be creating our very own volcano to see a unique type of reaction called an acid-base reaction. Now, in order to do this experiment, which will help us to actually see with our own eyes a really cool chemical reaction, you're going to need the following ingredients. Ask a parent or guardian to help you gather. 1. A clear cup, glass, or vase with at least a 3-cup capacity. 2. 2/3 cups of water. 3. A mixing spoon. 4 tablespoons of baking soda. A couple drops of dish soap. A couple drops of food coloring. 1 cup of vinegar. 1 large dish or pan to place under your glass, cup, or vase. And then finally, safety goggles. Now, while none of these chemicals are dangerous, it's just good practice to wear safety goggles to protect our eyes from any splashing when doing any sort of chemical experimentation. Now that we have all of our ingredients, it's time to do our actual volcano experiment. Now, our 2 most important ingredients are our base, baking soda, and our acid, vinegar. Now, before we actually start this experiment, I want you to ask this important scientific question. What do you think is going to happen when we mix our acid vinegar and our base baking soda together? Will they make really loud popping noises? Will it make a really funky smell? Will it burn a hole through my table here? Or what else might it do? These are the types of questions that drive scientists to find answers. What do you think is going to happen? Now, to do our experiment, follow these steps. First, take your large pan and place it down, and then take your large cup, glass, or vase that has at least a 3-cup of water capacity and place it in the center of your pan. Next, take your 2/3 cups of water and pour it into the larger cup. All right, place this off to the side. Now we're going to take a couple of drops of soap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not too many. We're going to take our baking soda. Make sure you pour it in nice and easy. All right. Next, we're going to take about 2 to 3 drops of food coloring, enough to give it a nice blue color because my food coloring is blue. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. All right. Now we're going to take our mixing spoon and carefully mix our water, our base, which is baking soda, a little bit of soap in there, and the food coloring all together. All right. Mix it up. You'll notice that when you mix it, it's a little bit clumpy at first. That's because the baking soda is kind of clumped up in there. So we're going to get it mixed so that it's a nice kind of smooth mixture. All right. Can you see this now? Okay. Put this off to the side. Now, it's time for the fun stuff. We're going to add our vinegar. Now, think about that question I asked you earlier. What do you think is going to happen when our baking soda mixture and our vinegar mix together? Well, let's find out. So now for the final step, we're going to take our 1 cup of vinegar and slowly and carefully pour it into our baking soda mixture. Whoa! Check that out. It erupted like a volcano. That is so cool. So our volcano erupted. How cool is that? Now we know that the volcano erupted, but what exactly made the eruption occur? Well, as I mentioned earlier, today we're focusing on chemical reactions, particularly an acid-base reaction, which happens when an acid and a base mix together. Now, an acid-base reaction is a specific type of reaction called a double displacement reaction. It is first important to know that many chemicals, such as baking soda and vinegar, are made up of a combination of molecules known as ions, which combine to form ionic bonds. Ionic bonds are whenever a positive ion and a negative ion come together to form a bond. Here, we have the chemical formulas for baking soda on the left and vinegar on the right. We can see that baking soda is made up of the positive ion sodium, or Na+, and the negative ion bicarbonate, or HCO3-. Vinegar is made up of a negative CH3COO- or acetate ion and a positive H+, or hydrogen ion. Now, in a double displacement reaction, the baking soda and vinegar molecules split up and switch partners due to the fact that they are both soluble, meaning that they dissolve or split up when they're mixed together. Now, in the double displacement reaction, the positive sodium ion switches and bonds with the negative acetate ion to form sodium acetate, and the positive hydrogen ion switches and bonds with the negative bicarbonate ion to form carbonic acid. This follows the typical pattern for any acid-base reaction, when what is produced is a salt, our sodium acetate, and a water. But wait a minute, we don't have water. Not yet, because the reaction is not finished. And because it's not finished, we don't have our reason for why our volcano erupted in the first place. You see, carbonic acid is highly unstable, and when it gets exposed to oxygen in the air, it splits up to form water and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a gas, often seen as bubbles in sodas, like in this Coke right here. And it is the release of carbon dioxide that occurs when carbonic acid breaks down that is the reason our volcano erupts. As the carbon dioxide escapes into the air, it causes our baking soda and vinegar mixture to expand, thus erupting like a volcano. So now you know what happens in an acid-base reaction, and why, when we mix vinegar and baking soda together, we get this eruption. Because in the double displacement reaction, CO2 is released into the air, causing this mixture to expand and expand up and out. How cool is that? This is only one example of the countless number of chemical reactions that happen in our daily lives all over the place. So thank you for spending time with me today and learning a little bit about chemical reactions. Bye-bye for now.